Time Wonderland, Olympus DAO, Rome, klima, the list goes on and on and on. The entire DAO rebase market just got wrecked. What happened? What's going on? What led to this mass sell-off on Olympus DAO and all of its forks? We're going to break that down in this video. Welcome to my channel, Enter the Dungeon. If you're here, I'm going to assume you're a degen like me and you enjoy crypto, you enjoy DeFi, you enjoy airdrops and all those things. So make sure to hit the notification bell, subscribe, and like this video so I can send you more just like it. Also, real quick, remember that I'm not a financial advisor, okay? Always ape responsibly. Be a big boy or a big girl. Do your own research. Nothing in this video is financial advice. This is all just stuff I'm interested in, okay? So, and I'm also just going to go one step further. Please don't buy anything that I discuss in this channel or that we discuss in our Discord. It's highly degen, okay? So, speaking of my Discord, you can jump through the link right now, right below this video in the description, and you can join us in the dungeon where I am right now, hanging out with all the degens, and where last night we were hanging out when everything went to hell in the Olympus DAO markets and the spinoff markets, all the forks and everything, right? So we just watched this train wreck basically in real time. This is where I caught it, okay? Somebody, I won't name names, somebody dumped 82,526 ohm, just market dumped it, which was 13 million, received 11.3 million in DAI, a stable coin pegged to the US dollar. Just look at the difference here, by the way. That's $2 million lost in slippage fees alone. Okay, so in this video, we're just going to do a quick post-mortem. This isn't going to be a super long video, hopefully. I'm just going to talk about what we think may have happened, future outlook a little bit, do a little bit of post-mortem. So let's just kind of dive right into it, okay? So, we watched this whole thing unfold. We broke it down a little bit. We did a little bit of exploring. You can see here, okay, I'm on the ohm DAI market. This is where it all went down, right? Boom, you see this massive, just massive knife spike all the way down from 159 to around at $104. So ohm held it's held above the $100 mark. And to be fair, look, like all these markets have just been trending down. Like, a lot of them, some of them had started to pop again on Phantom. But for the most part, a lot of these markets had already just been getting crushed by macro events, by the macro market moves, by, growing bearish sentiment across the board on these type of forks. So this stuff was already like in red territory for sure. Bears were already winning here, at least in the recent days. And so when this massive transaction came through, and by the way, we're going to get into what led to this sell-off a little bit. But when this massive transaction came through, right, this is, at least to my knowledge, and I could be wrong. So if there's anybody who can correct me in the comments, please do. I'm just going off basically what I saw go down. Okay, so when this happened, this corresponds to this candle here, right? 11 million. So because there's so many people that are highly leveraged in these markets, right? With the 9-9 strategy, 9-9 being where they're essentially lending out, they're borrowing against their ohm to borrow more stable coins to buy more ohm to 3-3 more, right? With a liquidation point, this is very similar in a way to leverage trading on a centralized exchange, for example. Once you cross below a certain dollar threshold, for example, your position is going to get liquidated. So that market dump led to a number of immediate liquidations, leading to a cascading sell-off and failure on the Olympus DAO market. And because of that, the effect just rippled out to all the other forks. Okay, so Time Wonderland was a little bit less crushed yesterday, but today in the last 4 hours, going from 1580 here to right now in the 953 range and just spiking all the way down to in the 650 range. So this cascading effect has just rippled across all these markets. Okay, klima already was just getting like massively wrecked for a long time. Yesterday dropping even to its low $82. Redacted seems to have held up a little bit better than some, but also was already in just sort of like a macro downtrend, or at least like a recent downtrend, right? REKT, and then a lot of the smaller markets, right? Like a lot of these ones on Phantom that were trending up for a long time, like Phantom DAO, just got crushed, right? Hector DAO down to $47. Just boom, big drops across the board. So let's dive into a little bit what we think happened, what led to this. And it all began with a couple tweets I saw on Twitter. So let's hop over there real quick. All right, so this right here is the tweet that led me down the rabbit hole of discovery to figure out what the hell happened last night by DCF God. Basically, just led me to basically find this transaction and try to figure out, like, do a little post-mortem on what happened. And it turns out that essentially a Medium blog post came out yesterday, which led to panicked sell-off by a ton of whales, and that cascading effect led to just mass capitulation across these markets. So if you're interested in kind of learning more, I suggest you find some of these original tweets by DCF God. Diving into some of the replies, you'll be able to find some of the transactions, some of the players involved, and come to your own conclusions. I'm not going to come to any conclusions in this video about who did what, or who made the first sell or whatever, or what their motivations are. Hey, we're all here in crypto and we're here to buy and sell things, right? So if you are overexposed in these markets, right? If you have too much exposure in some of these markets to the point where somebody else selling is going to, ruin your day or your week or your financial future, then you're doing this wrong, probably, right? You're overexposed in a sense. And does that make it okay? Am I trying to tell you that this is your fault? No, absolutely not. But you're in a market where essentially the laws of chance are constantly working against you. So these things can happen. A lot of us are feeling the pain right now. A lot of us in the Discord dungeon, all hurting, but this is definitely a massive test for these types of protocols. What will happen next? Where is it going to go? We don't really know, but let's go check out the Medium article that led to this whole thing, okay? All right, so here we have it. This is the article that started it all. Actually, I believe this is part 2. So there's a first part. This one just came out 2 days ago, so I think this kind of like heated up over a couple days, started making its way around Twitter. And then as market sentiment grew a little bearish already on the macro, a few people started catching wind of this, started making some more sells, caused a little bit more sell-off. And then as we saw yesterday, it led up to some massive, huge sells. So Of Smoke and Mirrors, part 2 by Jordy Alexander. I think it's actually a decent article, and I think it does make some good points. I think it also misses a few points. I'm not going to go too deep into it. I'm going to link it here below the video so you can actually just read it yourself and draw your own conclusions. Essentially, the TLDR on this article: Olympus DAO, all of its forks are Ponzis. They're classic Ponzis. They're money printers that only really benefit the people who get in early, or who get in on dips, or who get in before a new wave of hype. So that's the essential premise. Is there some truth to that? Not going to say either way. Again, please draw your own conclusions here, right? But the article itself goes in to essentially a little bit of the history, who created Olympus DAO, what some of the mechanics were around it launching, why it's essentially, why the theory in here, or why the conclusion is drawn that it's a Ponzi. It goes into a lot of, this sort of analogy of mafiosi, like there's a consigliere here and all this stuff, whatever, right? But and then it just kind of covers how it got started, like what the mechanics are, why Olympus DAO and its forks are a Ponzi. It's all reliant essentially on this idea of 3-3 that we're all agreeing to hold so that we can keep printing money. But of course, that all falls apart once people start to make money, and once they start to want to hold on to that money, right? That's when people start to sell, and that's when the early market participants in a coin like this, or really in any coin, right? And I think that's part of what the big argument back and forth on Twitter is that this is true in a way of a lot of crypto launches, that really it's the early participants that truly benefit, or the smart money, the people who get in at the right time and get out at the right time, learning how to sell, right? So I do think this is a good article. I think it's decent. I think it misses some points. I think it misses the larger point that DeFi itself is very new. I think that you can easily smash the idea of a Ponzi onto almost any of these DeFi protocols. And a lot of people do. It's why we call them affectionately Ponzis, right? Because they're printing money. That's the whole point of the tokenomics. But I think this does a good timeline job of just going through it. So you should definitely check it out yourself. So let's go a step further here. What does it mean going forward? Is Time Wonderland over? Is Olympus DAO over? What happens next? Protocols. Has the music stopped? Has the music stopped on Olympus DAO, on Time Wonderland? And look, the answer, I think, quite simply is no. Are there some Ponzi-nomics here involved? Did a lot of early market participants get ridiculously wealthy? Yes, absolutely. But remember that in any market like this, there's two sides, right? There's people with conviction on both sides. There's people who think it's going to zero and they're going to sell to lock in their profits. And there's people who think it's going to go up and they're going to buy to lock in future profits. And is it possible that a lot of these are going to rug, that a lot of these are going to disappear? Absolutely. But on some of these larger ones, like Time Wonderland, Olympus DAO, and even if you go a step further and you look at different projects that are being built with stronger utility, building real products, look at the strength of these markets, the amount of participants, the amount of volume that has flowed into some of these. And you have to ask yourself, are they just going to go to zero and go to nothing? No, absolutely not. Because even though some people right now, and even though there's just max pain here, right? Because there's just been a massive downtrend. So if you bought in up here on Time, right? And you have just followed this all the way down, 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 you're going to be feeling like the music is over, right? Because you're negative here, essentially. So, you may be thinking this is over, but there's people coming in down here. Like you can see the bounce here alone dropped from 1,500, bounced to 600, bounced high all the way right now back to 1,000. That's a lot of conviction, a lot of buyers who don't think that this is going anywhere, who think that they can right now lock in profits. Should you do that right now? No, that's not what I'm suggesting. I'm not giving financial advice here. I'm making a point only that these markets will continue. They will continue in cycles of hype. They will continue to go up and down. There's a lot of volatility in these markets, especially because some of the mechanics like 9-9 make it easy for people to get liquidated. But if you're smart, if you have conviction on your trades, there's still a lot of money to be made in a lot of these markets. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, join us below in the Enter the Dungeon Discord server. We're giving away some NFTs in there right now. We've got a lot of stuff coming up. And if you're one of the first 1,000 people who join, there may be a free NFT mint in it for you in the future. I'm not going to make a guarantee or a promise, but that's what the rumor is inside the dungeon. Remember to click like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay safe out there, degens. It's rough. It's rough out there right now. Not going to lie. A lot of us are hurting. But, in any one of these markets, there's down days and there's up days. So play it safe out there, and we'll see you on the next video.